Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Denise Douglas. Thank you for joining us this evening. As Hollywood and other industries continue to grapple with sexual harassment cases, the Maryland General Assembly has also put a spotlight on the problem. A commission looking into the issue met today in Annapolis. Lawmakers have called for changes to better protect legislators, their aides, interns, and lobbyists from sexual misconduct. Delegate Anna Ariana Kelly, who is part of the Women's Caucus, says their report has a number of recommendations.
We definitely want to employ an independent investigator to investigate all claims against legislators. This is something that works really well in other states. It's working in New York. It just worked incredibly well in Oregon. Last week, we saw the resignation of a senator who had years of harassment allegations. And so we want to make sure we're using independent investigators in Maryland. The other thing that we really want to do, and it must be legislated, is create protections and accountability for the lobbying community. Right now, lobbyists are not covered by our policy, and that makes them extremely vulnerable. It also makes our staff and other folks in our community vulnerable to unwanted sexual advances from lobbyists.
The Senate and House chambers in both Virginia and Maryland have written sexual harassment policies, and lawmakers in both states are mandated to receive sexual harassment training. In Maryland, legislators receive training once every term, which is every 4 years. An 18-year-old Montgomery County High School student has been arrested for bringing a loaded gun to school after being taken into custody at Clarksburg High. Alwyn Chen told the school resource officer that he had a handgun in his book bag and a knife in his shirt pocket. Both were confiscated. Initially, the resource officer received a tip that Chen brought the weapons to school and went to a classroom and escorted him out. He has been charged with the possession of a handgun, possession of a firearm by a person under 21 years old, and possession of a firearm on school property.
In light of the recent school shooting in Florida, security at our public schools is a big concern. The Prince George's County system conducts 4 drills a year. Administrators review security plans annually. Every high school is equipped with a resource officer who is a member of the Prince George's Police Department.
We don't just use a cookie cutter model for every school. We try to customize each school's plan to meet their environment, to meet their needs, and to meet their community.
White says if a parent wants to know specific details about their child's school security plans, they should contact the principal's office directly. And Prince George's School CEO Dr. Kevin Maxwell contributed to the election campaign of a school board member at the same time the board was evaluating his performance. This according to the Washington Post. While Maxwell reportedly made a $500 donation to board vice chair Carolyn Boston, some members are critical of Maxwell. Some are questioning whether it's an ethics violation, including the teachers union.
No, I don't know. I'm not an ethics expert, but I will say this. If there wasn't something wrong with it, why did she give the money back?
And according to the Post, Boston gave the money back after consulting with legal counsel.
A federal grand jury has indicted 13 Russian nationals for allegedly interfering with the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein made the announcement today on behalf of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. According to the indictment, the Russians created an organization called the Internet Research Agency that used fictitious Americans and platforms to influence the election. It alleges that Russians targeted social media in swing states to tilt the election toward President Trump and against Hillary Clinton. The effort was allegedly launched in 2014. Federal officials say the tampering is being ramped up again for the 2018 elections. Well, you're watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Byron Scott.